Good morning, guys. Happy day 14 of distance learning. Happy Friday to everybody who's been waiting for Friday to kind of have the weekend to relax and all these other things. I was very happy yesterday to be able to talk to Charlotte and Juliana and Sam B on Teams. Remember, if you see my green light on there, you can always just ping me. You can give me a call. You can message me on any of the message boards and say, "Hey, Mr. Collier, can we please talk?" And as long as I'm available, then I would love to talk about anything. I also got to help Charlotte kind of persevere a little bit through some of the writing, and how yesterday, writing isn't everybody's favorite, but that we have to be okay with writing, because you're going to write for the rest of your life. It's something that won't go away. But there are some ways that we can break it down and make it not seem so big or so giant, these 5-sentence paragraphs and all this other stuff. So moving right along, today is the 131st day of school. 131st day. So that means one more than 131. Michael, one more than 131 is 132, of course, because we are looking at that ones place. Mr. Collier's big hands get in the way sometimes. Okay, one less than 131. Max. One less than 131 is 130. 130. 10 more than 131. So we're switching from the ones place to the tens place. 10 more than 131 is 141. So that means that 10 less, Zoe. So look at that tens place. 10 less than 131 is 121. I wish there was a windy section for this tally chart, but there's not. It looks like it might be a little cloudy outside, but definitely very, very windy. Yesterday was crazy at the end of our school day around 3:30 or 4, and then this morning it sounds like it's pretty crazy out there again. Today is Friday. Yesterday was Thursday, April 9th, and tomorrow will be Saturday, April 11th. Yesterday's question was, how many days until the 23rd, I believe, or 24th? I really need to start writing these down. Anyways, well, if it was the 23rd, then it would be 14 days away from 9. And you could count 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11, 12, all the way up there, 14 times, 14 hops. Or you can see that, the 23 is right below the 9th on the calendar. So 7's one hump, jump down, one row down, and then 7 and 7 make 14. So 14 days away is the 23rd. My question for Monday: if today is the 10th, how many days until the 1st of April? So there's 30 days in April. So how many days until the 1st of May? So today's April 10th. How many days until the first day of May? And that is my question for today. Weather. Today it is saying a high of 53, so it's going to be a little chilly outside. It's going to be very, very windy pretty much all day. Tomorrow, sunny and 62. It's going to be beautiful outside tomorrow. Sunday, it's going to get back up to 72, mostly cloudy. And then Monday, rainy in the morning, windy in the afternoon. Tuesday, cloudy. Wednesday, rainy again. So it's going to go rainy, cloudy, rainy, sunny, rainy. So we're going to have a lot of rain next week, but that is okay. History. I found something cool on here before we move on to our quote today. It gives the history of what the weather's been like in our history of keeping track of the weather. So today's temperature right now is 48, but the record, the highest it could get is 48 to 52, somewhere around there. But it says that the record for this day, and it doesn't really tell me when, was 91 degrees at some point in our history. So it's 48 right now. At some point it was 91 degrees on April 10th in another year. The lowest it's ever been on April 10th is 28 degrees, and I have no idea when that could have been, but that is really, really cold for April. And in Missouri, I talked to my grandma the other day. She said that it was kind of cold last Saturday or last weekend. She said it was down to about 33 degrees. So I guess it's possible, but here in Washington, D.C., it's usually a little bit warmer in April. Today's quote: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So I think it's important for everybody just to kind of remember that, everybody's going to have things that they're not as good at. Everybody's going to have things that make it feel like it's really, really challenging. And also everybody has times where we feel like, oh man, this is just too hard. I can't do it. Writing is a big one in second grade. I remember when I was in second grade, I kind of felt like that. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to write 5 sentences. That's crazy. But the more you practice it, and the more you, instead of giving up, you go and figure out, how can I help myself? How can I make this more manageable? How can I help myself out? Who can I ask? What can I look for? There's a lot of things. So how can you respond to a challenge, or how can you respond to something that might be a little bit tougher? It's not as silly or fun all the time. You just have to respond with a hardworking attitude, which all of you have. You have been working on your growth mindset all year, so just don't forget that growth mindset. It's not what I can't do. It's how can I achieve that, or how am I able to do it after a little bit of help from somebody else. Nobody can do everything in their life on their own. It doesn't matter who they are. Everybody needs someone to help, or something to help, or something like that. So maybe that's reading a book for you. Maybe that is playing a video game that helps you get through a tough time. But one of the most important things is, if you're working on an assignment and you get to the point where your brain's saying, oh man, I'm done, I can't do it, there's nothing happened, put it off to the side, go read a book or go sit on the couch for a little bit, and then come back 5 minutes later. It's okay to take a quick 5-minute break. Everybody needs a reset sometimes. So I call that the reset button. Also, don't forget mountain climbers too. You can breathe in, breathe out. Sometimes just breathing in a couple deep times can really reset. But always try to look for the positive in things. And if it's almost impossible, then a couple of our Stoddard core values is continual improvement. Perseverance is not one, but I wish it was one of the Stoddard core values, because that's what we talk about in class. Is if you get it wrong, great. Let's find that mistake, and let's see how we can try not to make that mistake again. Mistakes are great, in my opinion, and I know some of you share that opinion as well. All right, so today, math, lesson 14, or hopefully close to 14. I'll go in and check on Zern a little bit this morning. There's some extension assignments. If you are past lesson 14, you're just like, I need something different today, there are some extension assignments. Also reach out to me if you want anything a little more challenging, or something a little different than what we've provided this week. Reading, writing. Reading today, there's that Dear Time again, or that independent reading, 20 minutes of Lexia, and then a couple stories on Raz Kids. And those questions at the end are super, super important. Those are all those things that we would have been working on in guided reading and kind of like our whole group discussions. I'd be asking you a lot of these comprehension questions. But for the time being, Raz Kids is the best way for you to continue to practice to build those skills and to answer some of those important questions that help you understand the story a little bit better. Because it's not how fast can I read a book, it's did I actually understand what I just read after you're done reading something. Journal writing is finishing up anything from this week. If you are already done with all the journal writings, maybe you can work a little bit on your Nelson Mandela paragraph. A little comment about that. I've gotten an email or two kind of a little bit about how, typing an entire paragraph seems really, really tough. And that's totally okay. If you want to write it and then send me a picture of it, that's always okay. I'm assigning stuff on Teams just to give you a reminder, like, hey, this is due on Monday, so try to think about that. But I'll send reminders to parents as much as possible. And then I think the fun way, and actually Max already finished this, so I might actually post his project this afternoon before I go to lunch, just so you get a sense of what you're doing for your project. But you're going to use all of your information that you've learned about executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch, and now you're going to go outside and you're going to create a project where you're finding some branches or sticks outside, and you're going to create a collage, or you're going to create a picture on a piece of paper, or whatever you have with you at home, and you're going to get 3 branches, because each branch or each stick is going to represent a different branch, and you're just going to give a little caption. If you wrote those notes yesterday from the assignment in social studies, you've already got your writing done. You're pretty much just copying it. And then you're going to either glue it there or just lay it on the paper and snap a picture and send it to me, or something like that, so I can see what you learned about the 3 branches of government. Because on our quiz on Tuesday next week, there's going to be a couple questions about the 3 branches of government, and I want to make sure that everybody at least has seen the Brain Pop video. If this project seems like it's going to take up too much time or something like that, then you can skip it. But I think it's a fun way to get outside, collect some stuff, use this time to create a craft, so we're not doing as much pencil and paper or technology stuff. This is a good way to kind of get back into the creative way of doing some stuff at school. So it's all on the learning plan. It's right there for Friday. That is all I have for now. We will have our class Zoom this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and that's about it. So happy Friday. Have a great day. And if you're on Teams and you see me on there, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys. Bye.